Carl Jung's final warning to empaths: have you ever felt completely drained after being with someone, even though nothing bad seemed to happen? Carl Jung gave a chilling warning about this. He believed that empaths, the people who feel more deeply than most, are being fed upon, and most of them don't even realize it. If you stay until the end of this video, you'll discover Jung's secret about how to protect your light and finally stop being prey for these invisible energy predators. Jung observed something terrifying in his private notes. Empaths weren't just unlucky magnets for difficult people. They were being hunted, unconsciously targeted by those whose inner flame had gone out. These people weren't always cruel or obvious villains. Often they were charming, vulnerable, and seemed to desperately need love. But beneath that mask, Jung saw a pattern. They had learned, without even knowing it, to survive by draining the light of others. And how do they do it? Through emotional manipulation disguised as love. Through crisis after crisis that pulls you in. Through making you believe that your exhaustion is devotion and that your constant giving is proof of real connection. Jung realized that the very gift that makes empaths extraordinary, their deep compassion, can be weaponized against them. Think about it. As children, many empaths developed their sensitivity as a survival skill. The child who could read every shift in mood, every unspoken tension, was the child who stayed safe. But as adults, this ability makes them a glowing target. Predators sense it instantly, like moths to a flame. Jung described how this process works step by step. First comes recognition. The energy parasite spots your light. Then comes the wound display. They show you their pain, their struggles, their vulnerability. Next, empathy activation. Once your compassion is hooked, they begin extracting, keeping you busy with endless crises. Finally comes normalization. They convince you that feeling drained is love, that exhaustion means connection. And before you know it, you are trapped in a cycle that feels like intimacy, but is really depletion. Here's the hardest truth Jung uncovered. You cannot heal someone by letting them feed on your essence. You cannot love someone back to wholeness by sacrificing your light. He saw this everywhere. Romantic partners who appear deep but drain you daily with drama. Parents who guilt their children into carrying their emotions. Colleagues who make every crisis your responsibility. These people aren't monsters plotting in secret. They're unconscious beings who've lost their own connection to genuine emotion. Instead of rekindling it within themselves, they survive by taking it from you. So what can you do? Jung believed the answer was consciousness. The moment you see the pattern, it begins to lose power over you. He outlined a path, what I'll call the light method. L. Learn to read energy. Notice how you feel before, during, and after being with someone. Do you feel lighter, calmer, and inspired, or drained, anxious, and foggy? Your body is your radar. I integrate your shadow. Be honest about your own unconscious need to be needed. Ask yourself, am I trying to fix others to avoid fixing myself? Making this conscious prevents you from being controlled by it. G. Guard your energy. Protecting your boundaries isn't selfish, it's sacred. Say no to emotional dumping. Refuse to carry pain that isn't yours. Your energy is finite and you need it for your own growth. H. Honor your true self. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Own your sensitivity. Trust your intuition. Use your empathy as strength, not as a trap. T. Transform trauma into wisdom. Accept that your empathy was born in survival, but now it can evolve. You can feel others without absorbing them. You can help without depleting yourself. But Jung also gave a warning. Once you start protecting your light, the parasites will push back. They'll escalate, guilt trip you, or accuse you of being selfish. This isn't proof that you're wrong, it's proof that your boundaries are finally working. The truth is, the moment you stop being their supply, they must face their own emptiness, and many will leave. That might feel like loss, but Jung saw it as liberation, because real love doesn't drain you, real connection doesn't leave you exhausted. He described 3 stages of empath development. First, the unconscious empath, drained and confused, blaming yourself for being too sensitive. Next, the conscious empath, aware of your gift, beginning to protect it but still struggling with guilt. And finally, the sovereign empath, who owns their gift, feels deeply without losing themselves, and chooses relationships that give back instead of only taking. The journey to sovereignty requires courage. You must be willing to disappoint people who expect unlimited access to your energy. You must be willing to be misunderstood, even disliked. But as Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And who you truly are is not a source for others to consume. You are a light meant to illuminate your own path and inspire others, not fuel them. So remember this. Every time you say no to emotional vampirism, you're saying yes to your own growth. Every boundary you set is a declaration of self-respect. Every time you refuse to dim your light, you're choosing love for yourself over manipulation from others. Empaths are not broken. You are powerful, but only when you stop letting your gift be weaponized. Jung's warning was terrifying, but his promise was empowering. You don't have to keep being drained. You can awaken, protect your light, and finally step into your true strength. If this message spoke to you, don't leave without taking one small action. Subscribe to Psychology of Happiness, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your story may be the light another empath needs to awaken.